Hello and welcome to What's Next. I'm your host Matt Brading and this week it's Music Week. Later on in this show I'm going to be talking to three of the girls from Stafford Operatics' version of Hot Mikado. But first, here are Josh and Rob with our review section.
Hi, I'm Josh, here to update you on all the new music for this year. One Direction have just released their new album, Take Me Home. It was released on the 12th of November, but before that, iTunes gave you the option to stream the whole album. This gives you the option to listen to the music as many times as you want before it's released. This gives the audience a chance to decide whether they want to buy it or not. Now, this is not usual for iTunes as of late. They have done this earlier in the year with Usher's new album. This is also so they can advertise while letting their customers listen to the song because, as you guys know, you can't listen to a preview of the song on iTunes until it's been released.
Bruno Mars has just come out with his new compelling single, Locks Out of Heaven. The song has reached #1 on iTunes. Bruno Mars' new album, Unorthodox Jukebox, is already available for pre-order on iTunes and is due to be released on the 10th of December. For those of you old enough to remember the CDs, maybe this would be a good idea for a stocking filler.
Last Music Week, we were talking about Taylor Swift and her new album, Red. Taylor swiftly walked away with 3 awards from the EMA MTV Music Awards on Sunday in Frankfurt. Also, Carly Rae Jepsen walked away with 2 awards for her single, Call Me Maybe, as well as Lana Del Rey, who walked away with the award for Best Alternative Track for her song, Born to Die. The EMA also paid tribute to the late Whitney Houston, who unfortunately died in February. That's all in the news for this week. Now it's back to Matt for the news.
Okay, so we are now going to do the news. That was very cheesy, guys, but you know, I kind of liked it. So right, so I'll go ahead and get started. This is kind of, you brought it up then, but iTunes is letting people stream albums, like entire albums, before they're released, before they go on sale even, so that people can get a taster of what they're like. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I know that iTunes aren't exactly the first company to do it. I think there was a website, there was a company called SoundCloud who did something similar for sort of unsigned artists who were releasing new albums, and I think there was some more well-known artists who did that as well. So it's worked well with SoundCloud, so I think it will have a similar impact on iTunes.
Yeah. Josh?
I mean, I think it's a good idea because, you know, it could be complete crap and, like, you don't want to buy it, and you can pre-order albums. I know with Pink's album, I wanted to buy it, and there was like an option to pre-order it, but it could have been complete crap, so I didn't pre-order it because that would have been a waste of money.
I think it's a good idea to try and like encourage people to buy albums, I guess, because there's less risk involved in it. Because like if you've heard one of the songs and you like it, then you can listen to the rest, and if they're good, buy the album. And it's kind of like, this is what radio used to be, because radio used to be like you'd hear a song on it, and then you'd go out to the HMV or whatever and buy the album.
HM what?
No, I'm saying this like this is years in the past, like a few years ago.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but yeah, this is kind of like the modern way of doing that, I guess. Right, so Josh, I'm going to throw you a card. Let me check it's not the same one. Yep. That was nearly a good throw as well.
Almost perfect.
Nikki Reed is on the new Twilight album.
Okay.
Okay.
Who is Nikki Reed?
Nikki Reed plays Rosalie in the Twilight films.
Right.
Okay.
Actually, I've never seen Twilight.
Well, I suppose it's good that they've got a member of the cast who's just willing to fill in because she might have acted a lot, and it's a good way to sort of promote a voice for the rest of the Twilight fans. I don't think has she been on any of the other Twilight soundtracks, you know, in the
I
films?
don't think so. I mean, I listened to it because it was on iTunes and I like previewed that's like, on iTunes, you can only download like one song.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to buy the whole album. But Nikki Reed's song was like one that you had to buy the whole album, and I listened to the preview of it, and I think you heard her like, I think it was just her moaning, like for like 5 seconds. It was just some other guy's voice. So
it's not really on the soundtrack.
Not really.
But it's actual singing? It's not just like her voice.
No, yeah, it's actual singing.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I've never really heard her sing before.
Okay. But not the best review of that. Not so pleased.
Sorry,
okay.
Nikki.
Right, Rob, it's your turn to try and catch.
Hey.
Nice. That was awesome.
Christina Perri, 1,000 Years 1,000 Years...
Part 2.
1,000 Years Part 2, a good idea. That was terrible of me. So, what do you think about this, Josh?
It's exactly the same song. It's not like, you know, Empire State of Mind Part 1 and Part 2 and Love the Way You Lie Part 1 and Part 2. It's exactly the same song. Oh, okay. It's just Part 2, 1,000 Years Part 2. It's just the same song as Part 1.
Fair
and they've just released it on on Part 2 of Breaking Dawn. So I don't know why they've done that.
Oh well. Right, anyway, that's all the time we've got for the news section. We are now going to do the tech review with Josh and Rob.
For all you music students or sound students out there who are in love with downloading apps from the iTunes Store, listen up. Who here has heard of the Raven MCX? Anyone? No? Okay then. It's a state-of-the-art touch-screen display sound mixer which has many outputs and even lets you plug in your own smartphone.
But for those of you who don't work at Warner Brothers, might I let you in on a little secret? The new Auria DAW app for the iPad has been released. This app allows the user to mix a full 48-track song using just their iPad. It can handle up to 48 tracks of stereo or mono files and record up to 24 tracks at once. If you have the correct interface, that is. The app also has its own plugin store which can allow the user to add more things to this app to help their work. This app also helps freeze your CPU usage, which is something that Pro Tools doesn't even have. It's similar to the Raven and only costs $50.
That's all for now. See you later. We're offering an exclusive interview with the girls from Hot Mikado.
Okay, so I'm now joined in the studio by Sarah, Holly and Siobhan from Stafford Operatics, currently dressed up in your costumes from Hot Mikado, looking very colourful. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what Stafford Operatics is?
Stafford Operatics is an amateur dramatics group, obviously, that's based in Stafford. It's been running since the 1920s, so a very long time. Obviously, it's sort of progressed throughout the ages, and now in 2012, we perform 2 shows a year at the Gatehouse Theatre in Stafford. We have a lovely show selection committee who sort of pick what shows. We try and be quite current, so they get together and try and pick sort of a couple of years ahead. But yeah, we like to think we're almost professional to the point where we're not getting paid, but we're at the level of, you know, that professionals are really. We like to have a full orchestra and we use a proper set and hire the costumes and things. So it's.
I think like I went to see your latest play, which was Hot Mikado, which was only a few weeks ago, wasn't it? Not that long ago.
A month now.
Beginning of October.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to say, like I was really impressed with it because I've seen some amateur dramatic stuff before, and it's like a bit hit and miss. But you know, it was like the staging, the dancing, it was all pretty cool. So why don't you tell us what your roles were in Hot Mikado? If we start with you.
Well,
Sarah.
we were the Three Maids, the Three Little Maids. I was Pity Singh, which was the more feistier of the three. Used to just stick up for Yum Yum when she got in trouble with men. Yeah.
I played Pete Bow, who just sort of tagged along, really. You know, put a 2 pence worth in the song, but just, yeah. Tagged along.
I played Yum Yum, who is like the love interest in the story.
Yeah.
So.
Leading lady.
So, like, how did you guys get involved with Stafford Operatics?
I Hot Mikado was my first one.
Yeah.
So I joined in April this year. I've done shows at the Gatehouse before through growing up, and after studying and everything, I've come back to Stafford for work. So yeah, it just felt like the natural thing to do to become a part of it.
Yeah. And like, do you think it's a good thing to be involved in if you're interested in musical theatre?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You're never
Okay.
going to get this chance anywhere else. So
Yeah.
it's definitely, it's a great place to be.
Yeah, because I like you're almost quite strict with it because it's like it's very sort of professional how you do things. You know.
Yeah. There's sort of one rehearsal every Thursday, and
Yeah.
then if you have a principal part, you're there on Mondays, and then there's also Sunday rehearsals. So it is a big commitment, but it's sort of well, more fun than any other hobby I could imagine to do.
I'd
So
rather be doing that.
yeah.
Are they nice people or is it quite sort of
No.
intense?
Yeah.
They're
Everyone's
lovely
lovely.
people.
Everyone's
Yeah,
lovely.
they are.
That's great. And so you finished Hot Mikado now. So what are Stafford Operatics working on?
Well, our next show is going to be Me and My Girl,
Okay.
which will be performed in April next year. So we're just getting ready for the auditions for those parts, which will be on the 2nd of December.
Okay, that's cool. I happen to know our studio director as well is one of your members
Yeah.
who joined last year. So that's kind of how this all happened. But,
Yeah.
So a bit later, you're going to be performing Three Little Maids for us, which I'm looking forward to. But before that, we have a video of our recent visit to Red Bull Music Studios in London.
So thanks very much for coming in. What's your name and what do you do for Red Bull?
My name's Brendan Harding. I'm the studio manager here at Red Bull Studios London. I'm also head engineer, so I look after all the day-to-day technical aspects of the studio. So I engineer the sessions, look after all the equipment, make sure that everything's in the right place. We have the main studio up here, and then we also have a rehearsal room downstairs, and an artist in residence production room as well. So sometimes we need to juggle equipment between all three of those. We also do events outside, so I kind of organise engineers to come in and look after that as well.
What sort of events have you done outside then now?
Outside we do pretty much anything from product launches, exhibitions, galleries, we do talks and lectures and workshops.
Mhm.
It's quite a versatile space, so we can kind of make it suit what clients need. A lot of the time we use it as an asset to offer to people that we're working with. So it's kind of, instead of saying, all right, here's this check for this much, it's here's our space, come and use it and kind of turn it into your space, and we can kind of both gain something from it. So it kind of gets used, it's quite multi-purpose.
Okay. And so what is the studio here then? What's its role within the industry?
The studio is a little bit of an anomaly within the wider studio business because we don't charge for the studio at all. It's always provided for free on a project by project basis. So depending on who the artist is, who they're working with, what the outcome of the project is, if there are any media partners involved, generally kind of it's who the artist is that kind of drives the whole thing for us. So if we had an amazing kind of singer-songwriter come in and want to kind of just come in and do vocals, then that's cool for us, because if they're already a big name, then we get the attached kudos, and we get to have artists seen with the brand, seen with the drink, seen in our space. But we also have kind of the smaller up-and-coming bands and artists that gain a lot more. I mean, may well come in to record a track, record an EP, and then are able to say, this was recorded at Red Bull Studios London, and we get the kudos that comes with that as well.
Yeah.
So we deal with artists from bedroom producers that nobody's ever heard of, all the way up to Grammy Award winning artists, and everyone in between, basically.
From school. Bobrabito, Bobrabito. Three little maids from school. Three little maids from school. Three little maids who are nowhere, come from a ladies' seminary. Free from his genius to the library. Who'd you know in Nagasaki? Three little maids from school. Three little maids from school. Three little maids, three little maids. Three little maids, three little maids. One little maid is a bright young young. Two little maids in a 10 go. Three little maids is the total sum. Three little maids